Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about the Galapagos Islands. Now, just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying the show and want to listen ad-free, check the links in the show notes because I've got an ad-free version of all my podcasts up on Patreon for just $3 a month. Now, as always, before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. There's a popular legend that Charles Darwin was seasick while traveling on a ship named the Beagle, and when the ship stopped at the Galapagos Islands, Darwin got off the boat just looking for a bit of relief from his nausea, but found something far greater. They say he noticed how the distinct beaks of native finches matched their specific diets, leading to a sudden epiphany for his theory of evolution. What do you think? Is this an actual fact or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is endemic. That's E-N-D-E-M-I-C. In biology, the word endemic describes a plant or animal species that's native to a specific geographic region and is not found anywhere else on Earth. The Galapagos Islands are full of endemic species because the relative isolation of the archipelago allowed species to evolve independently for millions of years. Approximately 80% of the land birds, 97% of the reptiles, and 30% of the plants on the island are classified as endemic. This means if these populations disappear from this specific habitat, the species becomes extinct worldwide. The word endemic comes from Greek, combining the prefix en, meaning in, with the root demos, meaning people or district. Historically, physicians used this term in the 16th century to describe diseases that regularly affect a specific localized population. Ecologists borrowed the term during the 19th century to categorize wildlife distribution as scientific exploration documented unique regional organisms. Today, global conservation organizations use endemism data to identify priority areas for environmental protection. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about the Galapagos Islands. Number 1. The Galapagos Islands sit at the intersection of 3 major ocean currents that dictate the local climate and marine biodiversity. The Humboldt Current brings cold water upward from Antarctica along the coast of South America to the islands. The Panama Current arrives from the north, introducing warmer waters to the northern islands of the archipelago. Finally, the Cromwell Current flows deep beneath the Pacific Ocean from the west and collides directly with the western islands. This collision forces nutrient-rich water upward to the ocean surface through a process called upwelling. These 3 currents create distinct microclimates across the different islands in the chain. The cold waters support species like fur seals and penguins, while the warmer waters accommodate tropical fish and coral reefs. Phytoplankton thrives in the nutrient-dense upwelled water, forming the base of a massive marine food web. This unique oceanic intersection allows cold weather and warm weather species to coexist in the same equatorial region. Number 2. Giant tortoises on the island can weigh up to 900 pounds. The Galapagos giant tortoise is the largest living species of tortoise on the planet today. These reptiles can reach lengths of 4 feet and develop carapaces or shells made of bone and keratin. Their slow metabolism allows them to store large amounts of water and fat within their bodies. This helps them endure long periods of drought that frequently occur in the arid lowlands of the islands. It's said they can survive for up to a year without consuming food or water. This survival mechanism, though, unfortunately made them vulnerable to human exploitation, which reduced their populations significantly. During the 18th and 19th centuries, passing ships captured thousands of these tortoises for food provisions. Sailors stored the tortoises in the hulls of the ships because the animals required no sustenance for months. Today, strict conservation laws and captive breeding programs help protect the remaining 11 subspecies from extinction. Number 3. Floriana Island in the Galapagos archipelago has a post office that's run on the goodwill of volunteers since the 18th century. In 1793, British whaling ships placed a wooden barrel on the shores of Floriana Island to act as an unguided mail drop for sailors. Crew members who were away from home for years left letters in the barrel without stamps or fees. Homeward bound vessels stopped at the site, sorted through the collection, and took letters addressed to locations near their destination ports. This created a functional communication network powered entirely by passing mariners. Global travelers and tourists continue this maritime tradition today without any government employees or tracking systems. Visitors deposit postcards into the historic barrel and browse the existing stack for addresses near their hometowns. They take those postcards home and deliver them to recipients worldwide by mail or in person. This honor system has successfully delivered thousands of messages for hundreds of years. Number 4. The Galapagos Islands are home to the only penguin species that naturally lives and breeds north of the equator. The Galapagos penguin survives in a tropical climate due to cold ocean currents. The Humboldt and Cromwell currents bring chilly, nutrient-dense water from Antarctica and the deep Pacific directly to the islands. This water drops local temperatures enough to accommodate cold water marine species. Their presence demonstrates how oceanic circulation can completely alter regional wildlife distribution at the equator. These birds have evolved specific adaptations to cope with the warm air temperatures on land. They pant to cool themselves through evaporation and hold their flippers out to release body heat. They also lose their feathers twice a year to replace sun-damaged plumage compared to most penguins who molt only once. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: the marine iguanas found on the Galapagos Islands are the only lizards in the world that forage for food in the ocean. The marine iguanas of the Galapagos Islands evolved specialized physical traits to survive the cold temperatures of the marine environment. They have blunt snouts that allow them to scrape algae off underwater rocks. Razor-sharp claws help them grip the seafloor against the strong ocean currents while they feed. And their dark skin absorbs sunlight when they return to land, warming their bodies back to normal operating temperatures. Diving into the ocean causes the iguanas to ingest large quantities of sea salt during their feeding sessions. In order to handle all that salt, they actually have specialized cranial glands connected to their nasal passages that filter salt from their blood. The iguanas then expel the concentrated salt by sneezing it out their nostrils. The white crust often hardens on their heads, giving them an interesting look. Now for some news you can use. If you get the opportunity to travel to isolated ecosystems or explore different nature preserves, it's a good idea to come up with a strict biosecurity cleaning method for your footwear, your bags, and your clothing fasteners. Vacuum out your backpack pockets, scrub the treads on your hiking boots with a stiff brush, and check all hook and loop or Velcro surfaces for hidden organic materials. This will remove seeds, insect larvae, fungal spores, and soil particles that could hitchhike on outdoor equipment. Taking these steps prevents the accidental introduction of non-native species into fragile habitats. And this is important because invasive species can be a major threat to isolated ecosystems like the Galapagos Islands. Organisms that evolve in geographic isolation lack natural defenses against foreign competitors or pathogens. A single seed embedded in the mud of a boot sole can germinate and outcompete endemic flora for water and soil nutrients. By establishing a systematic inspection and cleaning routine, you can prevent ecological contamination and protect native species and animals. If you want to explore remote conservation zones without causing environmental disruption, or like most of us, you just don't have the means to physically travel halfway around the world, it's free and easy to take a virtual trip to the Galapagos Islands. Google partnered with the Charles Darwin Foundation to map the Galapagos archipelago using the Street View Trekker, a specialized 15-lens backpack camera system. Researchers and students can access these files and navigate 360-degree imagery of locations like the interior of the Sierra Negra crater or underwater channels near Floriana Island. This digital approach provides unrestricted access to locations that are actually legally closed to foot traffic to protect nesting wildlife. Virtual exploration also eliminates the carbon footprint and physical erosion associated with ecotourism while still maintaining all the educational value. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, did Charles Darwin just step off the boat because he was seasick and then stumble onto an epiphany about evolution based on just seeing Galapagos finch beaks? It's a fun little story, but it's also a fallacy. While Darwin was famously seasick throughout his voyage on the HMS Beagle, he did not have an immediate breakthrough upon landing. During his 5-week stay in 1835, Darwin did not keep detailed records of the finches and even mixed up specimens collected from different islands because he didn't realize their biological significance. He actually focused his initial notes much more on mockingbirds and the variations in giant tortoise shells to formulate his early ideas. It was only years later in London, after an ornithologist named John Gould analyzed the specimens and identified them as entirely distinct species, that Darwin realized the finch's evolutionary importance. So while Darwin was seasick on the Beagle, and he did spend time on the Galapagos Islands studying all sorts of different creatures, there was no instant eureka moment. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the Galapagos Islands with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.